decided to decline the automatic placement of the football and instead will force Boardman to kick off from 5 yards farther back and try to get a return out of this thing from Marcus McWilson or Justice Ellis Moore.
Mark Handel.
And Mark Handel, who scored Mooney's touchdown on a 60-yard run near the end of the ball game last Saturday, also back.
And the stable of backs and returners that they've had over the last couple of years, just incredible for Cardinal Mooney.
Here's the boot. It'll come up short at the 28. Handel getting it, works his way to the middle of the field across the 35, running to the near side and pulled down at the 40. So they gained a little bit there by taking the penalty.
And one thing that they didn't get last week, Jim, and we didn't really touch on that, was the field position was just atrocious last week, beginning for Cardinal Mooney. Now, last week on their opening series, they went 3 and out against the Wildcats at St. Ignatius. We'll see if that changes here tonight.
All right, they start from their own 41-yard line on the left hash mark, moving right to left here on the artificial surface at Stambaugh Stadium. They open up in a pistol I formation. Looks like a mix-up as Martin turned to hand the ball to somebody on his left. His backs both went right, and it winds up being a yard loss. He gained 98 yards on 14 carries officially against St. Ignatius. Had a 31-yard tote in the process.
Yeah, and showed very good quickness getting outside. It was just mainly a lot on that pitches where it was just a little bit late. But when you have two backs going one way, that tells me that was probably on the quarterback.
Three receivers lined up, one behind the other on the right edge. Martin runs the ball that way, turns in behind tackle, up the far hash mark and out to the 45, a gain of 5 to bring up third down and 6.
And it appears they were going to try and open up with a screen. They had trips wide receivers stacked up to that wide side of the field. Marcus McWilson being the last one. He looked in that direction, then did a good job of looking downfield, electing to just turn it up for some positive yards. Nice block by Bob Ballone.
Donovan McWilson splits right. They've got those three stacked receivers to the left this time. Martin quickly looks that way, throws it out. He's got Marcus McWilson, who is tackled just as he crosses the 50. Doug Brandt knocking him out of bounds, and he looks to be maybe a couple inches short.
And yeah, it's going to be very close. They're not going to have the first down, in my estimation, from what I'm looking at. They're going to call out for the measurement. But I would imagine that at this point, they're probably going to go for it.
Yeah,
I would think.
Midfield early, got a chance to put some power on, make an early statement. The ball game just a minute and a half old. Tonight's Boardman football broadcast here on 570 WKBN is being brought to you in part by Boardman Subaru, offering quality, safety, and the highest predicted resale value in the industry.
What do you think, yay, nay?
I think he's short.
You got it, buddy.
And he is. So it will be 4th and maybe a foot.
Interesting here. I mean, we've seen it played out a lot of different ways, Jim. We've seen coaches go up there with their quarterbacks, and they pretend that they're going to hike. And remember, Marcus McWilson, Mooney's punter, exceptional. So even if they went up and tried to get Boardman to go offside with a change of a cadence, a little slight move of the shoulder, even if they moved him back 5 yards, Marcus McWilson, tremendous punter. A weapon unto itself.
Yeah, McWilson, who shanked his first punt against St. Ignatius to help set up the first score, still wound up averaging 40 yards a kick against Ignatius.
Interesting, guys. McWilson's not even in there on this set.
Well, stack I formation here. Old-style Mooney offense. Martin is just going to surge forward behind the middle of that line. Kelty, Perry, DeCapita has the first down easily at the Boardman 47.
One thing they do have to watch, though, on that play is on that quarterback sneak with Denver Martin, and they ran that a couple times last week against Ignatius. Anthony Dermata, who I believe was the up back, either that or was Matt Pecchia, he went up behind the back and almost started pushing on the quarterback, Denver Martin, and that's not allowed. So that is something that you really got to watch. They're very lucky didn't get a penalty on that.
Ball marked on the Boardman 46. Martin on the run to the right, throws right, wide open, pins it down the sideline. This will be called back as the guy out in front blocking for him, I believe, Quincy Jones. Yep. is going to be called, I think, for a hold, but they had Jones down the sideline another 7 to 10 yards, keeping a defensive back busy, and just sat Penza on the sideline farther upfield, closer to the offense, so he had plenty of running room, and there really was no need for Jones to interfere with the defender. Penza might have been able to juke him or just outrun him.
And it's a case early on where Boardman really committing with that 4-4 defense, playing a lot of people inside that box. And with Cardinal Mooney, when they go to that pistol formation, their wide receivers are literally maybe 4 to 5 yards probably from the sideline. So they are stretching the field very wide. And, you know, for a young man, Marcus Penza really stepping up over these last 2 games, getting some catches, getting some time.
It'll be 2nd and 9. Martin drops to throw, keeps it, goes to his left, and is tackled from behind before he can reach the 40-yard line. He'll be at the 42, and it'll be 3rd and about, I think that's 2nd and about 7.
And that's Evan Crouch, a sophomore, number 50 for the Boardman Spartans, catching Denver Martin from behind. Got good upfield penetration. I like the way Denver Martin saw that the screen was covered, didn't just decide to throw it out there because that's what was called. Really made a good decision to pull it, tuck it, and run. You just got to watch from the backside, keeping that ball out like a loaf of bread.
Tell you what, guys, he had Mark Handel open. If he would have waited about another 2.5 seconds, Handel was breaking open down the middle.
He's got 2nd and about 6 here.
All right. One of the Mooney offensive linemen ran off the field, Bob Malone, number 56. He looked like an equipment issue, so they have brought in the substitution for Cardinal Mooney, Ted Everett.
He goes 285. He's a junior.
Well, Jim, and you talk the quick screen again to Marcus McWilson out on the edge, but he had his knee down basically when he caught it, got some positive yards. But Coach Fecco said there's some things we saw in the film that were good. There were some things that, you know, we might have to work on. But that's one you notice right there, going to the outside spread game here very early on, getting the ball to some playmakers very quick and giving the confidence to Denver Martin to let it go.
Only gained a yard, though. 3rd and 5 from the Boardman 41. Handoff on the stretch. Big hole. Justice Ellis Moore down the near hash. Breaks the tackle at the 18 and is finally pulled down from behind at the 8-yard line by Brock Hull. Terrific run by Justice Ellis Moore. It'll be 1st and goal from the 9.
You got it, buddy. You talk about working it, working that perimeter, stretching out the wide receivers, going to the screen game, getting it to some skill people, and then as soon as Boardman starts to stretch it out a little bit, they attack back into that middle on a stretch.
Moore with the 32-yard run. There's a delay handoff, fake handoff to Marcus McWilson, going right. Martin keeps it, and he's stacked up for a 1-yard loss. Ellis Moore last week gained 30 yards on 11 carries. Got 32 on his first one tonight. 2nd and goal from the 10.
Boy, and it's very interesting when you see a quarterback also starting at that defensive end position. That's John Babas. Got good upfield field position. Disrupted that play for Cardinal Mooney.
Single setback right behind Martin to take the direct snap. Whistles and flags. It was kind of a let's run side by side and I'll hand you the football. Justice Ellis Moore has it cradled, but Bob Malone now trotting back into the lineup for Cardinal Mooney, all 330-some pounds of it. Ball will be set back to the 15. It will be 2nd and goal from there. So the mental sharpness that Coach Fecco was looking for is showing some signs of not quite being there here in the early going for Mooney.
But on the good side, they are doing some positive things. I mean, getting it out to the perimeter, working that inside run game, mixing it up.
Tandem receivers to both sides. Martin going to hand it off to Justice Ellis Moore, going right as he tries to cut back to his left. He slips and falls at about the 13-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and goal from there.
Boy, and Bob Malone coming back in after missing the last couple of plays. Just a tremendous inline drive blocker. He locked up with Ryan Eby, who has changed his number from 33 to 68 this year. Really locked up with them, kept his hands up on the inside of his shoulder pads, and continued to basically kick him out and drive off that defensive end about 4 to 5 yards down the field. Nice block by Balone.
They gave Moore 3 yards. It is 3rd and goal from the 12. Officials have stopped play momentarily.
Yeah, Justin Gardner, Jim, has some blood on his arm, so they're going to take care of him on the sideline.
All righty. On 3rd and 12, fake handoff into the middle. Late pitch by Martin to Marcus McWilson, and he gets to the 10. They ran that very close to the line of scrimmage. Not much room to maneuver. A very short pitch, and it'll just allow the defense to bottle it all up. They get a couple, but it's going to be 4th and goal from the 10.
And it was a decent play fake on the inside, but the thing, it just doesn't feel like there's crisp decision-making. It's almost a little hesitant when Denver Martin gets to that edge.
Last for zone will attempt a field goal. It is no good block. That was about a 27-yard attempt, so Mooney eats up almost half the first quarter and comes away empty. 6:04 to go. First quarter, no scores. Boardman gets the football on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. Boardman from its own 20. Quarterback John Babos, a 225-pound senior who will split time with Darius Sanders tonight. Gains 8 yards to the left off a fake on a running play. Isaiah Lyle is what they call the T-back. There's a handoff, and that might be Lyle right there. And he's going to maybe lose a yard. It was. Lyle is a 175-pound junior who averaged just under 5 yards a carry and gained 62 yards in Boardman's opening win over Cleveland Benedictine. No gain, so it is 3rd and 2.
And that inside core offensive line for the Spartans, a little undersized compared to years gone by, moving Ryan Eby to the tackle position, left tackle position.
Boardman uses Brock Hull as a split end. Jamar Severson and Nate Jones also wide outs. It's a deep snap, handoff, and the Mooney defense is all over it. Marcus McWilson, like lightning through the line of scrimmage to knock Lyle down for a loss of a yard. So Boardman gains 8 on its first play, goes -1 on the next 2, and it's suddenly 4th and 3.
And Jim, if we've noticed one thing about this, early on, as the Spartans have gone to the core, 3 plays inside, even on the play that Babas got outside and got the initial 7 yards. When they ran the inside back off the play fake, that defensive line stuffed him. It was only when Babas was able to fake and get to the edge, positive yards.
Aaron Davis to punt, only averaged 23 yards in their opener. Lobs this one kind of across the 50, and it will roll dead inside the Mooney 35-yard line. 3:58 to go now in a scoreless first quarter here on the Baird Brothers Friday High School Football Game of the Week. Nightline embroidery and screen print will customize just about anything with your logos or artwork, or let Nightline produce something original for your school, organization, or business. See for yourself at Nightline, 16 West Liberty Street, Girard. And Len has not exactly an injury update, but kind of a cautionary tale for us.
Yeah, Jim, you know, it was 93 degrees today here in town, so it was hot during the afternoon, and it's still extremely warm down here on the field, although there is a fairly nice breeze blowing. But John Babos, number 24, the quarterback, was being stretched on the sideline, suffering from cramps already, although he is out on the defensive side of things, and you could probably see him walking towards you, but we'll have to keep an eye on him to see if that causes any issues later on. Jim?
Probably won't on offense as he splits time with Darius Sanders, but it could be a big factor on defense where they're a little thin up front. Len's sideline reports are brought to you by Armstrong. Armstrong on demand, Armstrong Zoom, and Armstrong phone. Armstrong, one wire, infinite possibilities. On first down from its own 35 after the 38-yard punt with no return. I believe that was Justice Ellis Moore that got the carry into the middle of the line for a yard, 2nd and 9.
And some nice penetration by Nick Cordova, that time by the Spartans. Number 55, the junior, 5'11", 185, got some deep penetration. And they really haven't broken formation-wise. They've kind of stayed pretty consistent in this.
Option left, screen left, Penza's got it. Wheels his way around a defender inside the 35 and manages to squirt out to the 30, make that the 44-yard line, where it will be make that the 39. I was right the first time, where it will be 3rd and 6.
You know, and it's very surprising because with Courtney Love and Matt Pecchia, the one formation we didn't see last week that they were very successful in last year was just going single back, 2 tight end set, 2 receiver, slamming away a little bit. You know, they had great success with that, even when they've put quarterbacks under center, as they have the last couple of years. Actually, they're going to now.
There's the snap. Martin running the option. Little head and shoulders fake. Pitches it back to McWilson, and he won't get back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th down. The Boardman defense doing a nice job spreading the field, and that play developed a little slowly.
And one young man, I got to tell you, I was impressed with last year when the Hammond young man went down on some plays and wasn't in early on, and we covered him. But I got to tell you, I was always impressed with number 47, Brock Hall. I thought he always came to the football very quickly when he was into the game. He had a bunch of catches last week in their game against Benedictine. And I think Brock Hall is a player that the Spartans will really, as the year goes on, will really be able to count on as a stalwart in that defensive prowess.
Hey, guys, here's something that's interesting. New high school rule this year, if your helmet comes off, regardless, you've got to come out for one play. Marcus McWilson's helmet came off. The Boardman sideline here went crazy, saying he's got to come off the field. And they have just taken him off, and I don't think he's going to be able to punt the ball on this particular series of plays.
And what's weird about that, there were helmets rolling all over the field in Cleveland Saturday. I didn't see anybody.
You know the interesting part, and I hope Len maybe can ask one of the refs, I wonder if you call timeout, if you burn up your timeout, right, does it still pertain? Because Marcus McWilson is a weapon unto himself, so it's probably worth it. At a minute 53, you burn the timeout, get McWilson out there to kick the field, to kick the punt. It's that worth it.
If he were just one of the wide guys, one of the guys, the wedge blockers, breakers or something, no big deal. But he's the guy that's going to kick the football, and he's not going to get a chance to do it. Zach Kennedy is going to come out and have to punt.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, guys. You got to come out for one play. It doesn't make a difference if you call timeout or not. You still must come off the field for one play, and that's what is happening here. And the Boardman coaches, like I said, we're all over it.
That a very pertinent Armstrong sideline report as Kennedy gets ready to kick it away to Matt Filipovich and Les McIntosh.
Great catch.
Caught a bad snap. Pops a wobbly spiral up. It'll hit inside the 35 and bounce. Nobody from Boardman nearby. It'll roll dead around the 27. 1:44 to go. First quarter. No score between Boardman and Mooney on the Baird Brothers Friday high school football game of the week. Boardman takes over on the right hash mark on its own 27-yard line. Direct snap to Babos. Lets a running back go by and then goes straight up that hash across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. And actually, that was their backup quarterback in there, Darius Sanders, 160-pound junior, rushed 5 times for 41 yards in their season opener. He got 5 there. 2nd and 5 coming up.
Spartans showing all kinds of different looks formational-wise. A real tight shotgun.
Maybe it wasn't. Babos is in there now. I thought I saw number 3 get up. He's alone in the backfield. Takes the snap. Rolls left. Looks to throw. Now tucks. Now runs. 35 and is hammered just as he gets to the stick. I think they'll give him the first down.
Boy, and a very tough kid to go to the end. What I love that Babos did as he rolled to the outside, no play fake, a designed pass the entire way. I love the way he kept the ball up by his shoulder as he was running, constantly looking downfield, seeing if he can find one of the receivers breaking out into space near the sideline. When he saw he was getting close to the line of scrimmage, tucked and ran.
6-yard gain. First down at the 38-yard line. Boardman gets to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. Then they look to the sideline to get the play. Babos with a running back to his left. Fakes it to him. Keeps it going up the middle. And gets back to the line of scrimmage. And that's about it. Pizza Hut, locally owned and operated since 1968, sponsors the 50-50 giveaway. 570 WKBN high school football local broadcast locations this season. Just entered the school's 50-50 drawing for a chance to win. Second and 10, no gain for Babos there, and he now has 19 yards in 4 carries. And a running back behind him to the left.
Tim, interesting analogy from the Boardman people down here. They say that John Babos is like Tim Tebow, Darius Sanders more like Michael Vick.
Babos takes the snap, rolls right, throws upfield, got his man at the Boardman 45-yard line and rolled out at the Mooney 45, rolled out of bounds at the 43. Number 43, Doug Brandt making the catch.
I think it was Doug Hall or Brock Hall. 47, I believe.
It was 47, gentlemen.
Okay.
Brock Hall, yes.
Yeah, and came from the wide side of the field. And again, the rolling pocket with Babos, allowing Brock Hall to create space, the offensive line, giving him enough time on that rolling pocket. And I love the way he's keeping his eyes downfield. That's a long developing play to come from one side to the other.
Babos was 9 for 11 throwing the ball last week. Takes a snap with a running back behind it. Fakes it to him going left. Takes off behind the right side of his line. And pounds down to the Mooney 35-yard line. An 8-yard pickup on what will be the final play of the first quarter. At the end of one, it's Boardman nothing, Cardinal Mooney nothing. 570 WKBN.